inside, get your popcorn,
Get your candy. Get your chicken fingers.
and most of all, get comfortable because it's time for Royal Cast Live! What's up, everybody? And welcome to the Royal Cast Live, the only bi-weekly online variety show that brings you artists, authors, dancers, and the creative community live streamed to your favorite device. I'm Lutalo Olutosin. Some people call me Sweet Lou, and I'll be curating your journey through the Royal Cast landscape. Happy Black History Month, everybody! I am so glad that 2020 is really behind us now. But we still got plenty of work to do to build a better country post-COVID-19. So let's please be mindful of our own responsibilities in this regard. You see, the next 90 days is really going to be rough, but we can survive it. In an earlier episode, we talked about the Buffalo Soldiers and how they were the first blacks allowed to actually fight for the U.S. military. They fought fiercely and tirelessly along the western frontiers, even after being shot full of arrows. So much so that the Native Americans honorifically called them Buffalo Soldiers because they saw a similar fighting style in the buffalo and the soldiers. The Buffalo Soldiers were key components in settling the West. They were also the primary operators of the Pony Express. Today we call that the U.S. Postal System. Buffalo Soldiers were assigned many missions, but one mission in particular we're going to focus on for today. Let me introduce you to two Central Florida Buffalo Soldiers. Meet Corporal David Fagan and Sergeant Major John Calloway. These two men were part of the 7,000 Buffalo Soldiers that were sent to the Philippines at the conclusion of the Spanish-American War. You see, the Philippine Islands had become the booty that the Spanish were fighting hardest to keep. And now, of course, they came under U.S. control. We had to take control of it, right? With actual possession. That's where Sergeant Major Calloway and Corporal Fagan come into view. You see, despite the horrible treatment that black soldiers thought they were escaping by fighting for their country, they were sadly wrong. But nevertheless, they served proudly and they fought fiercely until the mission in the Philippines came along. And we're going to talk about that. You see, the Buffalo Soldiers had actually been thrust into the middle of the Filipino Revolution. The Filipinos had been fighting Spain for their freedom. But to them, it didn't matter who they were fighting. They wanted to be free, and that was their mission. So imagine the thoughts that Corporal Fagan and the seasoned Sergeant Major must have had. I mean, after all, they fought the Native Americans in the West while enduring the early days of Jim Crow segregation. They knew that whites were lynching black soldiers while still in their uniform, and that could be their fate too. Corporal Fagan thought well, but he also began thinking. Oh, and the Sergeant Major, his brain kicked in too, and he noticed some stark similarities in the Buffalo Soldiers' plight and that of the Filipino villagers. Things like they were both poor, subjugated, and oppressed, and both just wanted human rights. Both were called nigger by the whites. So you can probably see where this might end up, right? The Sergeant Major was busted for speaking favorably about the Filipinos in a letter that he was sending home. The Army actually discharged him. However, Fagan acted decisively. He left his unit and actually defected to the rebels. The rebels immediately promoted him to captain, and Fagan led raids on U.S. positions and gave them fits using guerrilla tactics. Of course, the Army put a bounty on Fagan's head. He was never captured. And although accounts differ, his remains were never recovered. But the Filipinos have basically made him a folk hero of sorts, and they say his ghost inhabits the area. David Fagan and Calloway represent a departure from the beaten path because of a radical change in consciousness. Fagan and Calloway were two of nearly 30 Buffalo Soldiers who defected to the rebels. By comparison, whites deserted at nearly the same rate, although their defections weren't to the point of this research. These men are exceptional in a survive at all costs kind of way, and they represent the reason that whenever the Creator does turn out the lights, black people will still be here. Survive, survive, survive. Look, friends, things are tough everywhere in the world these days. One can easily find themselves in what seems like the most hopeless of circumstances. The one thing I can tell you for sure is there's always hope. There's always another option. Always. Sometimes hearing the right words is all it takes to set you straight. Here's a message from our Director of Communications.
Your mind will always believe everything you tell it. Feed it faith. Feed it truth. Feed it.
Hey everybody, it's time for the Royal Cast Challenge. This is the time in the show where everybody watching gets to show everybody else how smart they really are. So the challenge works like this. I'll give you a question and everybody will have 48 hours to get their response in. You'll just send your response in by text 470-220-4518. Everyone has a chance to win. Now everybody's not gonna win, but everybody has a chance to as long as you enter. This week's challenge. The transatlantic slave trade accounts for the majority of African Americans residing in the U.S. as they descend from enslaved people. The question to you is, of the 12.5 million Africans shipped to the New World during the transatlantic slave trade, how many actually arrived in the United States? Answers are A, less than 500,000, B, 7 million, C, 5.5 million, D, 10 million. You have 48 hours to text your answers to 1-470-220-4518. Here's a riddle for you. What do you get when you combine a New Orleans jazz pianist with a Chicago R&B trumpet player with a voice made for singing and an Indiana, Mississippi jazz singing transplant? Give up?
Everybody put your hands together for the ambassadors.
There'll be no darkness tonight. Lady, our love will shine. Just put your trust in my heart and meet me in paradise. You're everyone here in this world to me. Treasure time won't steal away. So listen to my heart, lay your body close to mine, and I want you tonight to feel alright. And baby, through the year, I'm gonna love you more each day. And I promise you tonight, you will always be the lady in my life. Stay with me.
Lay back in the tenderness. Let's make this a night you won't forget. Girl, I need your sweetness. Lay back in the fantasy. Tonight we can feel the ecstasy. Come to me, girl, and I will keep you warm through the shadows of the night. Let me fill you with my love. I can make you feel so right. Baby, through the years, till when we're old and gray, I will help you home and stay. Cause you will always be the lady in my life.
While I contemplate the kind of love we make it every time.
Stay with me.
It's really exciting when I kiss your lips and I caress those hips.
I want you to stay with me.
Stay with me. I want and let me kiss you, girl, and let me touch you, girl, and let me hold you, girl, and let me kiss you and love you and love you and kiss you.
Baby, you can have from me. And whatever you need, my love, come and tell me. Only the essence of your soul tickles my senses into heaven. It makes me surrender to your spell. And I'm helpless, can't you tell? Love inspires so gentle with my heart. 'Cause it belongs to you, only you. You can have from me, and whatever you need, my darling, come and tell me. 'Cause all my desire and my want of you I take now so lightly. All that I ask is the same, getting the sharing of your love with a man who adores you as you are. With my passion, my love is forever. Sugar,
something like real big steak, cook as cucumber or something with it. But I remember it was just like the cartoon on the TV screen. That's what happens with jazz music. It only happens with jazz music. First he starts leaning back in the seat, snapping fingers and patting his feet. That's when he beats the back. Who is what the people say. The berry is the real thing. Those themes are something you should really do. This only happens with jazz music. It only happens with jazz music. And maybe you'll be a parent. Step music you. Tyrone Jackson.
Mr. Tyrone Jackson. And right now, we're going to feature one of our ambassadors. Give it up for Brian Andrews. Give it up. Brad Canada on bass. And I'm Tyrone Jackson. You can say something. Let's bring back up.
She looked at me one day, chased my blues away. She chased my blues away with a smile. I never dreamed I'd meet a woman so bad. There was something in her smile. Lady Magic, where have you gone? Oh, Mrs. Magic, well, you tell me out here, Mrs. Magic. Won't you come and stay a while? Come and stay a while.
She put her hands on me, kissed me tenderly, and held me tight. I'd give up anything that I possess if I could have a little girl tonight. That Lady Magic, where have you gone, Lady Magic? You have turned me on, Lady Magic. Think you better hurry up, come on, hurry up, come on home, Lady Magic. Mama got a little bit of work for you. In the twilight, feeling the loveliness of the night, smooth and mellow, feeling how we move so right. When the time goes, taking it nice and slow. In the white light, lazying through this all-night flight. Higher and higher, baby, let's our spirits reunite. We're over the rainbow, taking it nice and slow. Baby, you're my lover, no other right has to stay and make a hideaway with me, dreaming in burgundy. Looking out the window at the universe is told me you're great, we can say everything's okay, you see, as long as you're here with me. We can take the world to make it go, we can lose it to the undertow. If you say it's cool, then we can push it away, as long as you stay. Whatever you say, please baby just stay. Let this wine light cover every look tonight. Feel that love grow, let's our spirits reunite. We never will let go till we overflow. No other right has to stay and make a hideaway with me, dreaming in burgundy. Looking out the window at the universe, a stormy array, we can say everything's okay, you see, as long as you're here with me. We can take the world, just make it go, we can lose it to the undertow. If you say it's good, then we can push it away, as long as you stay. Whatever you say, please baby just stay. Ooh, in the white light, let it cover every little look tonight. We'll go higher and higher and higher and higher, baby, touching you with second sight. We'll never let go, never let go, till we overflow.
While we dance, next record, baby, you were so fine. The way you move next to me, your eyes told me one thing. Oh, baby, the touch of your back, move down the vibrations, baby. Yeah. We started talking, you needed time to make up your mind. Oh, baby, nobody else knows that's how I feel. Please tell me, baby, what you gonna do? I want you, and you want me. So why don't we get together after the day? Oh, I want you, and you want me. So why don't we get together after the day? Well, they say beans will burn in the kitchen and greens will burn on the grill. I took my time, just what I feel, just to get up that hill. So now we are in the big leagues. Get my turn at bat, and all we got is you and me, baby. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
They say there's always magic in the air. But when you're walking down the street and you ain't had enough to eat, the glitter rubs right off at you. No one. Say the women treat you fine on Broadway. But looking at y'all just gives me the blues. And how you gonna make some time when all you got is one dime? And one thing that won't even shine your shoes. How you shine your shoes? One time won't make in the won't. How you shine your shoes? Baby, 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 baby. They say that I won't let you on They say, boy, catch a Greyhound bus for home. So Sam said, but they did wrong, I know they are. Brag and play that bass guitar. And now we'll put till I'm a star on Broadway. And I won't quit till I'm a star. Get it up.
say something like,
all blue. See the sky and me and you, it's all blue. The sea, the sky, you and I know it's the blue. Every day, I have the blues. Every day, I have the blues. When you see me worried, baby, it's you and I hate to lose. Nobody loves me. Nobody seems to care. Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me. Nobody seems to care. We talk about bad luck and trouble, bad luck and trouble. But it's me, I've had my share. I'm packing up my suitcase, gonna move on down the line. Said I'm packing up my suitcase, gonna put all my best junk in it, and I'm gonna move on down the line. And it ain't nobody worried, nobody in the world worried, ain't nobody crying. It's all blue, all blue. See the sky and me and you, it's all blue. Ooh. All shades, all blue. Then all shades and all hues. It ain't nothing but the blue. I said it ain't nothing but the blue. When you see me worried, baby, you know that it's you I hate to lose. All blue, all blue, all blue. Whoa, 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 all blue. See, it's not you and I know it's the blue.
to just give you a small introduction to this cat that joined us on the stage. His name is Zach. Zach Wilson. Wait a minute now. A former graduating student at Kennesaw State under the direction of Mr. Tyrone Jackson. I don't know, Tyrone, is that your keyboard? That's yours? You only got I'm saying, man, he done set that thing on fire, man. You might have to take out some insurance or something. You know. Nah, you gotta slap his brother too. Man, y'all feel good tonight? Tell you what, you do what I do. Y'all think I can do it? I say y'all do what I do. Can y'all do that? I can't really feel what you're saying, man. Y'all do what I do. Can y'all do it? Okay, all right, okay. Who said no? Did you see him? I swear I'll come right down there and get you. So do what I do. Sit down, boom, down. Sit down, boom, down. Bam, bam, boom, down. Something down, boom, down. Put it in, fucking doing. Put it in, but I don't do things. Put a band of do thing. Put a band of better do. So the band do bam boom bang. Keep up. Do the bam boom bam do bang. Again. So the band do bam do bang. One more. So the band do bam do bang. So the band we now. So the band we today. So the band so the so the y'all was supposed to keep up. We'll keep up with this. We're gonna keep it going. On Broadway. On Broadway. On Broadway. On Broadway. On Broadway. On Broadway. On Broadway, on Broadway. What was that? I heard somebody singing out there. On Broadway, on Broadway, on Broadway, on Broadway. On Broadway, Broadway, baby, baby. Broadway, baby, baby. Broadway, baby, baby.
There's a time of the day when the sun is going down. That's the golden time of day. It's the time that the sun turns to gold all around. That's the golden time of day. Yeah, at the end of the day, when the wind is soft and warm, ooh, don't it make the flowers sway? When the sun settles down and it takes a loving fall, ooh, that's the golden time of day.
People, let me tell you, there's a time in your life when you find out who you are. That's the golden time of day. And in your mind you will find your bright shining star. Oh, gonna make you feel okay. And when you feel deep inside what a love you've been looking for, oh, that's the golden time day. And that's like the time of the day when the sun is going down. That's the golden time of day. Oh, 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 that's the golden time of day. Oh, that's the golden time of day. Yeah, shining, can't you see it shining? Oh, y'all come on and sing the song. Shining, can't you see it shining? Oh, that's the golden time. Can't you see it shining? Oh, that's the golden time. Can't you see it shining? Oh, I want to hear y'all sing this song like you know it. Sing it. Shining. Can't you see it shining? Oh. Sing it like you in church now. Go on. Basses. I need to hear some mezzo sopranos and some altos, please. Come on. Can't you see it shining? Now, where's my sopranos up top? Shining, can't you see it shining? Oh, that's the goal.
can't you see it shining? Oh, yeah, shining, can't you see it shining? Man, church now, go on. Basses. I need to hear some mezzo sopranos and some altos, please. Come on. Can't you see it shining? Where's my sopranos up top? Shining, can't you see it shining? That's the golden time. That's the golden time. Shining, can't you see it shining? Shining, can't you see it shining? Yeah. Shining, can't you see it shining?
What do you get when you combine a New Orleans jazz pianist with a Chicago R&B trumpet player with a voice made for singing and an Indiana, Mississippi jazz singing transplant? Give up? You get the ambassadors, and we're going to talk with them. Won't you join us? Primarily an instrumentalist first.
Yes.
However, there's been some developments in your recent repertoire that have taken you in a different direction completely. As a matter of fact, you are part of a vocal group as a vocalist.
Oh my goodness!
And it's such, you know, we performed a few times, and when people see and hear Tyrone Jackson sing, the expression on their face is priceless. And it's not because of something bad; it's because they just didn't know that was a tool that you had in your tool chest.
This expression is priceless on my face. What are you talking about their face? Oh man! It'd be different if I wasn't singing with heavyweights. If I was singing with regular people, it'd be a different situation. But no, man.
Well, I've seen what you do and I've heard you, and listen, you're right at home. I think this is something that you probably have shied away from for whatever reason, but you shouldn't. You need to get on out there and let that be just, you know, Tyrone don't get his right hand or his left hand. He'll start singing on you, Jack.
I don't know if to say thank you to that. I don't know what to say to that.
No,
But you know I will practice. If there's anything y'all know about me, I will practice whatever.
This is true.
And I will call up and say, right before the gig, I'll be like, Alex, bro, send me my note, bro. You know,
Yep.
make sure I'm right in line. You know what I'm saying? So I will shed. You know, that's what I will do.
well, that's what it takes.
All right. With that being said, do not give me any solos. I'm telling y'all right now, do not do. Alex,
And that was
I'm not
happening
gonna
on
say-
the
I
next
speak-
show, man.
I see the mission.
I
I
got
already got it in mind. But I already got it in mind what you're gonna do, man. It's all good.
I could do Al B. Shore.
Thank you for that. I didn't know that. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Put a pin in it, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I know that I speak for Alex as well as myself when I say you, man, you bring so much to the group, not only through your instruments, but through the instrument, the one that came here to the planet Earth with. So we appreciate that.
Well, you know, Lou, that's a perfect segue into a question I would like to ask Alex, because, and you as well, but let me just ask this to Alex. So in thinking about this group or forming the group, the Ambassadors, why, like, you could have chose another vocalist to round it out, like a third vocalist. Why choose the people or the members in the group that you did? Like, what was the impetus for getting this group together?
I kind of wanted it to be a little atypical. Does that, if I'm making any sense with that? Yeah, it's easy, you know, to put together a group of singers, you know, whatever, and then, you know, just have a band, you know, to back them up or whatever have you. But it's a whole nother, you know, dynamic when you got people together that synergize with each other, number one. Number two, that are like-minded individuals when it comes to musical expression, when it comes to musical ideas and things of that nature, but at the same time, diverse in that particular setting as well, with their musical ideas and expressions. So I knew, well, no, I didn't know. I found out that you had vocal chops silently, quite silently. I observed. It never let you know. Never let you know that I was listening. I'm just sitting back like, this brother right here. Okay. And then me working with Lou, you know, I think us working in different gigs together. I think mainly with the White Andrews gigs and whatnot. You know, my respect level for Lou is, you know, just for not, you know, it's high level. And so I thought to myself, I said, man, what would happen if just the three of us would have come together and try some stuff? And it, done deal, man. I cannot be, I can't express how elated and how happy, you know, how just exciting it is to collaborate with you cats and then just to perform or whatever. I feel like I'm the one catching up with y'all, you know, for real. So,
well, you know, it's interesting that you use the word synergy, which actually is scientifically when the planets align in a straight line. Mm-hmm. And so when you talk about diversity, you talk about all the planets and their rotations around the sun is diverse. It's not the same, but the phenomena is when they all line up toward the sun. Mm-hmm. And I think you hit up on something there, because our careers all kind of lined up where we were able to do this, because you could very well look at you and what you and Lou do as competing for the same audience. Both of you guys are male singers, almost singing the hybrid of jazz and all the other stuff, probably listening to some of the same artists as well. So people can really look at you guys as having the same audience. So when you guys we all decided to join forces, Alice, what goes into the name of the Ambassadors? What do you feel about that name, the Ambassadors, or the Jazz Ambassadors?
Well, number one, ambassadors with the intent of having no title in front of it. We can be ambassadors of whatever it is that we choose to go after. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? You know,
Right.
like whatever we choose to master, whatever we choose to perform. And I honestly believe, I truly honestly believe that there hardly, outside of maybe a few ranges, here or there or whatever have you, I don't think there's anything that we can't do. And because of that, we have a chance to be ambassadors in so many different settings, so many different genres, so many different expressions, that I think we're just at the very, very tip and at the very, very beginning of what it is that we can really surface and sail with together. You understand what I mean? So the ambassadors to me, means we're ambassadors on that ship, taking it wherever it is that we're gonna go. And as soon as we get off, on the land or whatever, we ain't gonna do like Columbus or whatever. I've discovered, no, we ain't gonna do none of that or whatever. No, but we get there and we say, hey, we're gonna go with the flow of what this energy is here and be the best persons that we can be to structure whatever this is and give it the energy that belongs to it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Really good.
definitely.
You worked on that one, Alex. That was good, man.
No, that came straight from here because again, it's
Okay, then, that's where it is. Then. All right.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what can I just add on that? And I know
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Alex's question, but just the whole concept of the ambassador concept. When you think about where that comes from the diplomatic world. Where they actually use the national measures of power. There's whether as opposed to, there's several different types of power that a government has at its disposal. Hard power, we know that's I'm bringing it to you.
Right.
You may feel my military. That's hard power. But soft power is the diplomats. The soft power, you still represent power because if you can't do what you need to get done with others, other states or other people, then you always can fall back on the hard power. But you hit them with the soft power first. You show them that, hey, we can do this and not be as disruptive as we could if you cooperate. That's what the soft power approach is. But if that doesn't work, you always have the hard power. Now, in our context, we're not necessarily using any power, but we're using spirit. We're bringing spirit into these audiences that maybe need a little charge, and because of the synergy that you've already talked about, because of that synergy, we've got enough charge to charge up the audience. But of course, if the audience is receptive, they're going to give us a charge back. So it's a reciprocal kind of situation. And what could be better than that?
Lou, you're exactly right, because the diplomat of the ambassador, anything that is there in foreign land, but all the rights that as U.S. citizens apply to that block of land that they're on. But you're also sharing your culture. So if we apply that to what we're doing, we're trying to say, we're sharing you the abundance of our culture. And that's why Alex is important. Like you said, let's not put a moniker before that and say we're jazz ambassadors, because our culture has more than just jazz, blues, gospel, R&B, all of work songs, field house, all those things we could probably touch on. Y'all just gave me an idea for something we could do in the future. But anyway, but
I got that same idea.
right. But all those things are, and Lou, we talked about this before too. Oftentimes the education is not on foreign soil. It's in America that we got to teach people about our culture. So
absolutely,
being an ambassador to your own people is something as well.
Yeah, and it's in reverse, but it is necessary.
Yes,
it's necessary. We've gotten so far away from all the things that make African Americans African American. You know, in many respects, and sometimes it's because we're chasing after the European culture that's the dominant, and obviously the one that has all the coins. We all need coins. So we end up, you know, finding ourselves in situations where we're chasing things that aren't native to us. But what is native to us is pretty damn good, you know?
Right.
So we need to kind of look a little introspectively sometimes and just realize we're it, you know, first on the planet. So you know, the creator did that for a reason.
Alex, you must have some questions, man. We're not used to you being this quiet, bro.
Right.
Well, you know, I almost don't want to leave, you know, what this energy is, man. But Lou, let me pose you a question, you know, real quickly. Why would you want to be a main part of a group with great singers?
Well, I'm kind of the position that no matter what I'm doing, I want to be as good as I possibly can be. I want to be the best that I possibly can be. And I learned real early that you don't get better by communing and hanging around and spending your time with people who have less skill and ability than you do. You never get that. You're never going to get that. You can't walk in a room and you're the baddest person in that room and think that anything in that room is going to take your skill level anywhere but back. And it won't take very long. You'll very quickly start backsliding, and the technique that you do have is not as good as it was when you came into that room. So conversely, if you walk into that room with all the baddest cats from 7 Seas, and you're the worst, you will be so much better by the time you walk out of that room by just being around that level of creativity and talent that it's immeasurable. So you ask why? When I see some real talent moving in the direction that people need to be moved in, I'm going to want to be a part of that. Because I know, one, I bring something to the table, but two, I'm going to get so much more from being at that table than I would have if I sat on the sideline. So I need to be a part of these things that where people are much better than me, much greater skill level, in order to bring my skill level up.
It's beautiful.
I buy that, Lou, but at the same time, look at this endeavor you're doing right now. Like, how did Royalcast come about? That's nobody else but you're in this situation. So you got to tell me, how did this come about? What's on the horizon for this? Like, what is your vision about what we're doing right now? Because that's not something that is a shared vision. We buying into it, but this is something that you came up. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I can talk about that. And really, I think if I look at the impetus for the Royalcast, one word: coronavirus. You know, had we not been dealing with this, I would have not taken the time to develop something like this because there wouldn't be a need for it. We'd be out doing gigs here and there and everywhere and trying to get more touring, if not, or studio work. That's what we'd be doing. But when COVID hit us, it gave everybody a sucker punch, and we still don't know what we're going to look like post-COVID. If our venues are still going to be the way they were prior.
We were in the groove too.
Oh, right. My goodness.
Bro,
Everybody were in the groove.
Just getting started, man. Yeah.
So I needed a creative outlet for myself, first of all.
Yeah.
But after I spent some time, conversing and chopping it up with some pretty smart people, I realized what I had was not just something for me, it was something for the artistic community. because the same pains that I was having, everybody else was having. Performers needed to perform, audiences needed to be performed for or be entertained, but we had a situation that was making that very difficult. So I wanted to still give people an opportunity, or give the artistic an opportunity to work and present their wares, audiences an opportunity to hear what that is or see what it looks like, and still be safe at the same time. So that's really where this comes from. Now, where's it going in the future? I don't know for sure, but I do know that I'm going to continue to let Spirit guide me. I know that as long as I continue to bring in the community of which I'm a part, and make sure that we're sharing some ideas and some concepts that will help all of us get through what we're dealing with now, and most importantly, help us to understand the context of the situation we're dealing with. And now I'm talking about the racial dynamic and, the poverty and everything else, all the things that have been over generously shared with African Americans. The poverty, the disease, the unemployment, all the things that we have far too much of. We have to have some kind of coping mechanism. In our community, it's always been music. Before it was anything else, it was the sound of the drum. We've graduated now, but it's still music. And it's still a necessary part of who we are every day. So that's where we'll be in the future. Hopefully, one day we'll be able to perform in front of live audiences the way we used to. But if not, it's not the end of the world. We still have ways to present what God has given us and to share with the community and help the community get through these tough times.
So it's beautiful. Not to get off topic, we're talking about this COVID thing, and you said it, no better way than I could express it. It was straight sucker punch for everybody, for the full community, and still a gut punch, as we speak right now, thoughts going through my head right now, the vaccine, the masks, the social distancing, the distancing. I see some of the cats that we know. They're out there performing, and I look at them. They display themselves on the video. They're live out at the club, and it almost appears as if they're doing it almost kind of like they used to. Even though, we're saying social distance and things of that nature, man, look like they just right back in the club doing their thing, or whichever have you. And I'm kind of scratching my head like, man, at what point does this really become real for everybody? Or at what point, it's a little frightening, but yet a little exciting, just in this format right now. If you understand what I mean, within the format of a broadcast, that you're presenting, this can go in so many different ways that like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg, just the beginning. So where it goes from here, where we go from here as individuals, as a group, I'm excited and curious to see exactly what's going to unfold. But I find myself looking forward to it all at the same time.
I tend to agree with you, brother, because I'm feeling pretty excited about what's on the horizon, whether or not I know what it is or not. It's a funny thing about life, you have to experience it. And if you don't experience it, you need to probably just let it go. Not even. Don't even worry about it. I mean, you know, if you're gonna sit on the porch and not experience what the Creator has put in front of you for you to experience, then maybe you're not the right guy. Maybe you've already reached your terminal velocity.
Wow.
Personally, I'm gonna live my life until I ain't got it no more. You know, and when I see people that are much older than I still living and still enjoying friendship, companionship, music, dancing, the whole nine, man, that really just warms me up, because I know I'm not far from that. And that guy that I just saw doing the four corners or whatever it was he was doing, that's going to be me in a few years, you know, but I'm going to be doing it because I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to sit on the porch and let life not be lived. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
You know what's crazy is the moment of clarity that we have now that we're older. And I look back and I said, wow, what if I had that moment of clarity when I was in my 20s? Like what we have now, what would that have been like musically for all of us? Like, I don't know, for myself, it's like, wow, if I had that singular focus or know what I know now, then I would have been way up the way while I have the youth and the strength and the energy. But to your point, Lou, hey, life is not stopping. It's finite. It's going to stop at one point physically, right? So why not do something with your life, even when you're 50, 60, 70, 80, and still pursue your dreams and your goals? You know, there's a lot of people who could do that.
Absolutely.
And so for whatever reason, COVID got us hemmed up, and you guys more than me, because I can wear a mask and play. But they call the vocalists super spreaders. That's what they call you guys, because because the amount of there's science that's backing up.
I didn't realize that was the.
I never heard that.
Because if you think about the distance of 6 feet, is for particles that passes from a normal person's mouth to another person.
Right.
Yeah.
But for singers, for you guys, it's 26 feet or something like that.
20, really?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Because you guys are able to use the diaphragm and project.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So that's why they call y'all super spreaders. And that's why if you guys go out in public to sing, you'd have to have some type of shield or something like that, because, you know, so, but this, I said all that to say this. The outlet, Lou, that you have created is perfect in as much as it's the next best thing. Like, you can't go out there, but now I can share content. And, you know, kids have been doing it for the longest time. Mm-hmm. Although kids have been doing it for free. And they don't need to be doing that, you know, because the kids want to do things to get their YouTube channels up and get their, so that they can get a commercial or get revenue from that. And I want to say to them, this is your revenue. What your music talent is your revenue, not the ads that you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Don't just put it out there for nothing. You belittling your revenue, right? Stevie Wonder doesn't have to create another new song.
Ever.
He's got songs at the wazoo that he's wrote for other people.
Right.
Until you come back to me, it's not his song. He wrote the song for Aretha Franklin or whoever, right? He's going to the mailbox. And I bet Stevie Wonder could drive that blind to his mailbox and pick up his check. I bet he could just back up and do that. He could drive a license to do that.
Stevie's going to be having to drive a whole lot further real soon. He's moving to God.
Right. I heard about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Permanently. I was like, man, okay.
Wow.
That's what's happening. Wow. Well, let's kind of steer this back a little bit. And I want to ask Tyrone a question. So, Ty, and now I'm talking more so about your music in particular and how you develop your work. So all your body of work, you know, you work with some of everybody, between guitarist Larry Carlton and everybody else, but just a long list of really A-list heavy hitters that you've worked with. but you also develop your own music and write your own. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about what that process is, how you get to it, and a follow-up question to that is, how do you teach that in turn to someone that a prospective student?
Oh man, excellent question. Well, let me just preface by saying I would love to do a masterclass attached to this, so we can delve into that aspect of
Great.
master teacher student relationship kind of thing, and kind of do that in real time. Your process can change over the years, and you could start off with a baseline, any kind of impetus to get you started, a lyric. Right now, as I get older, I'm learning the power of a lyric and then the power of matching the music to follow that lyric.
We want to thank the ambassadors for sharing their considerable talent, time, music, and experiences with us here on Royalcast Live. We also extend our support and well wishes for future success with the Tyrone Jackson Jazz Masterclass Series. And that's our show, everyone. Hope we brought a smile to your face, some groove in your soul, and warmth to your heart. We hope to see you in a couple of weeks when we'll be right back here and we'll do it all again with a whole new show. Again, I'm Sweet Blue Olatosin, along with the Royalcast Live crew. And thanks for joining Royalcast Live!
About you.